Let's get straight to it. Virginia Elena Carta, thank you for joining us on this week's LET Golf podcast. Hot in form at the minute, Virginia. It's been a great run of results for you. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited. So it has been good fun. For sure, being in contention in 4 events in a row has been quite draining, I think, emotionally, but at the same time, obviously, just very fun to be there and to see my game progressing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, what would you say has been kind of the turning point at the minute?
Well, I think game wise, I've had a really good season overall with my long game. So I've just been patiently waiting for something to click. And I think I wouldn't be able really to tell you like what exactly happened, but I think I just clicked. So obviously a little bit more putts dropped in the last few events. I've been able to be more patient on the course, and that's definitely also thanks to Becky Brewerton being with me. So that just really worked very well.
Yeah, I guess that's golf, right? You mentioned Becky there. I mean, looks like she's been a great asset. How did that come about?
Yeah, it has been great. Obviously, it's just so much fun to have Becky around and to walk the fairways with her. I have so much respect for her, like, well, personally, of course, but also for everything that she has done on the golf course. It's funny because in this case, definitely the caddy is way more golf popular and famous than the player is, so it's quite fun and cool. No, I think I've just been lucky. She asked me just before the Scottish if I wanted to work with her for the rest of the season. And I mean, I didn't need a lot of time to think about it. I was just quite excited for the opportunity and to just work with her.
Yeah, it's interesting. You said about her being obviously well known. She's played in the Solheim Cup. So how does the dynamic change when you've got someone on the bag who's done what she's done in the game?
Well, I think it's very helpful, and I think she realizes that as well. Obviously, like when you have been on the player side and you've been in that position, and I think especially in the last 4 weeks, right? I mean, she won on tour, and she has been in very like high pressure moments and situations that she overcame to win. She played Solheim Cup, so probably that's like the sort of highlights of any golfers that is a European or American. So she knows how to deal with these situations very well. So I think it has been helpful to have her on my side, because when I had a little bit more pressure or when I felt like I didn't really know how to breathe or what to think about, and it has been just very calming to have her there, knowing that she has been through exactly the same things.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got three events left now in the season. As you said, you've been in contention in the last few. So how do you look at the rest of the season? Does it make you hungrier to get a win over the line, or where do your goals sit right now?
Yeah, I think this year what I've learned is that shorter term goals work very well, like to focus on like the little details and the little steps that you have to take in order to get what you want. And I think really what the best I can do is to focus one event at a time. So next week, obviously, coming up is India. So it would be very important for me to just focus on and understand like what do I need to do to get to India properly and to train properly in India and to get the best out of my game. And I think so. It's a very short term plan, and I think obviously, I mean, it's everyone's dream to win an event, but obviously there is just one winner at the end of the day, and it's a very competitive tour. So I'm not really focused on that type of goal and objective as much as I think it's going to be in case a consequence of everything else that you have done properly and the way that you're supposed to do. So I think it's good. Becky and I will chat on Monday on how to organize the week, and I think it's going to be just very helpful.
Okay, cool. And next week, it's if I remember from last year, it's quite the course, DLF. So I know the players. It's a tough one, but it's a strategic course. So does that change your application going into it at all?
Yeah, I mean it's a good point. I remember last year, actually, my coach in the remembers very well. When I came out of DLF, I said, "Oh my gosh, I am never gonna put a foot back on this course. It's just so complicated." And it's I think you have to be
Yeah.
like, I thought I played too strategically, and sometimes I think it doesn't really pay off. Sometimes you have to take the risk, and usually I play my best when I take the risk instead of playing really conservative. So hopefully I have a different strategy this year. It's a really interesting course, and I think it's a course where you can play very well if your long game is on point and if you're able to just take a good strategic approach to the different holes. So I think I will spend a lot of time next week looking at different ways to play the same holes that I played last year.
Okay, looking forward to it. And I feel like with yourself this year, a big thing was I know you were very candid about the disappointment of missing out on the Olympics, but it feels like you've really actually used that disappointment to fuel the fire, and we've actually seen the best of you since that. Is that a fair assessment? And how would you kind of evaluate and look back at the whole situation?
Yeah, I mean, I don't particularly, really want to to talk about the Olympics, of course.
That's fine.
Well, I just think I've been a little bit unlucky. Like just before the Olympic qualification period was over, I got a really bad virus. I had to withdraw from an event, and then I carried that sort of sickness for the following events. So that didn't really help my case at all. That said, it was a goal. I think I have many other goals, and um, I was able. I think I'm very proud for being able to sort of reset and readjust and have everything else lined up.
100%, yeah.
I worked so hard this summer, regardless of my qualification or not. I did a really good job with my strength coach as well. He was key sort of this summer in getting me to do everything I needed to do for the rest of the season. So he was the first one to say, "Okay, we're not gonna go. Cool. We're gonna work today, tomorrow, and the next day, and we're gonna make sure that you can be at the top of your form and game at the end of the season. Doesn't matter. I mean, it was a goal. Okay, that's fine. But we have many other goals and ambitions, so it's okay. I mean, now I can look back at it thinking that I'd rather have had these 4 tournaments in a row that have been so cool,
Yeah.
being in contention and being so close to winning than maybe playing the Olympics. But it's two different things for sure.
Absolutely. That's a good way to look at it and very refreshing. And it's great to see you playing so well at the minute. We're all definitely spurring you on. So I
Yeah.
want to go just outside of golf for a minute, Virginia. One thing, I mean, since I've started working on the LET is some of the some of the people we have on tour playing it, their backstories are absolutely incredible, and some of the endeavors that you guys get off to off the course is has been really eye-opening for me since I've started working here. But your story in particular, I think, is absolutely fascinating. I mean, it just takes a Google of your name to see what you get up to off the course. I mean, an environmental policy masters from the University of Cambridge. I don't think many players can boast to having anything close to that. Certainly there as the smartest player on tour. So just tell me, when did that become an interest of you? I know you studied at Duke and then you went on to Cambridge to get your master's um, in environmental studies and environmental policies. So how does that come about? Have you always been interested in that, or was that something you picked up just at Duke?
No, I mean, I've always been interested in that a little bit since I was a kid, probably. My granddad had the biggest probably impact on that. I don't know. He just made me so passionate about environmental sciences for some reason. And used to spend a lot of time with my granddad when I was very little. So I just always thought I was going to do that. Obviously, I didn't know at what level or degree I was going to be interested in environmental sciences, but going into Duke, it was quite clear to me that that's what I wanted to do. So I was quite lucky because then it was easier to focus on sort of one subject and know what were the foundations that you wanted around them. Obviously, there have been moments during Duke where I wondered, like, should I continue? Should I turn pro? What should I do? But I'm glad I made the decision. I mean, at the end, to just pursue a master's degree at Cambridge and to conclude my my academic cycle with a master's degree, and it was such a good idea. And I'm really pleased. Of course, like golf has always been there, and I've played golf when I was at Duke. I played golf on the men's team when I was at Cambridge, and that's obviously what I'm doing now. But I'm on the side of golf. Clearly, I have this other massive passion, and I am working currently as a sustainability consultant for a multinational company that is based in the UK, and I've been doing that actually for longer than I've played golf professionally. So it's clearly like a big part of my life outside of golf, for sure, which obviously requires a lot of other sacrifices. But
Yeah.
yeah.
But it sounds in some way like it could be the pressures of high level sport and professional golf. Perhaps it's a help on the side rather than a hindrance. Takes your mind off it and separates you from the course.
A little bit, although really, I mean, it's a serious sort of commitment. So I know that I have to spend and put the time in and do the deliverables the way that they are supposed to be. So it is a time commitment. It's nice to be on the golf course knowing, okay, I have an option B in the future. And that's what I always wanted to
Yeah.
have when I was at Duke and when I was at Cambridge. So it's nice to know it doesn't really, I mean, it matters because golf obviously is my profession as well. But if something happens, which you never know, really, I always have an option B, which is great.
Wow, yeah. So a week like this, where we have an off week on tour, is it more focus on your job and kind of the practice is secondary? How does an off week work for you?
Yeah, I mean, off week. Well, this week, for example, I was in England, but I like to visit, obviously, the company if I am back in England as much as possible and to try to spend time there. Wasn't the case this week, but I usually in off weeks I pile up the majority of my meetings. Although I have some meetings during obviously tournament weeks as well, but that's just part of my role and my job, and that's fine. But I try to obviously get ahead of some of the deliverables in my off weeks. So maybe it's a little bit. I do a little bit more work than I play golf, but that works very well. Also, it gives me the time to recover also from all of these events. So it was a busy week for many reasons. Obviously, it's quite a quick turnaround between Taiwan and India. But I think, I mean, I saw my coach, so I did everything that I had to do golf wise, but I've also got quite ahead with everything else. So it's just off weeks are very busy weeks. As I said, I mean, it's not really,
Non-stop, yeah.
no, not really like glamorous life as it might seem from the outside. And I think like that's a big part of tour life, and the discrepancy between what people think about tour life and what tour life is really about, which is difficult. It's somewhat lonely. You travel a lot. You have to make sacrifices, whether they are like your friendships back at home, your love relationships. I mean, it's just difficult, right? I mean, you travel every week and you are all over the world. So you don't really have that much time to spend with your loved ones as maybe you might hope, and you don't have a lot of time to a lot of free time to do whatever you want because you're just competing. And then well, in my case, if I'm not competing in the evenings of tournament days, I'm working, so it just becomes a lot of time commitment.
Yeah, we're even more grateful for your time then, Virginia. And another thing I find fascinating about you is your Birdies for Babies program at Duke University. Just tell me a little bit about that. I know you're extremely proud of it, so just tell me and tell our fans what that entails.
Yeah, so Birdies for Babies, I mean, I obviously love this program. So back at Duke, in 1 year I was injured, so I had a little bit more free time, I guess. And I just thought, um, I mean, we get so much as a student athlete in the US. I mean, in my case, I had a full scholarship. If I have a problem and I have an injury, I have great healthcare and insurance, so I can get the best treatments. Duke Health is massive, and it's one of the best medical centers in the US. And I just thought, okay, like I felt like I was not doing enough for the community, as much as the community was really doing for me and the university was doing for me. So I just came up with this charity program. I talked about it to one of the faculty members at Duke. His name is George Grody, and he was one of my professors in one of my classes I took. But he was very much involved with the Duke Hospital. So I had volunteered previously at the hospital and spent a little bit of time thanks to him and through his advice. So I came up with this and I talked to him, and he said, I think that's a great idea. So that's how it sort of started. We made a plan. The Duke Hospital was very happy to just get on board with it. And it's great because we have now raised more than $120,000. And we have last year, or the year before actually, a room in the Duke Hospital has been named after the program. So basically, the program, I mean, it's not really abroad. It doesn't go to like a broad sort of audience at the hospital, but it's targeting the neonatal and pediatric intensive care units. So the idea was the one of trying to really support, especially families as well, that disadvantaged, maybe families that have to travel to go to Duke and cannot really afford a hotel room while their baby is in intensive care. So the idea was the one of trying to provide also those families with some support. And that's what the room is really about. It's a room where you can really spend a night at the hospital while you have to take care of your baby and like look after your baby. So it's great to see how the program has been evolving in the past few years now. I mean, it has been quite a long time, but it has been
Yeah,
working. Support is there, so I'm looking forward to. I mean, just being maybe more engaged with the program as well as the years go.
fantastic. Yeah. So the premise is you pledge, and then if somebody on the Duke team makes a birdie, an eagle, an albatross, then that pledge money goes towards the hospital, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's correct. So there are two ways mainly to do it. So there is a pledge, and you can pledge whatever amount you want, basically. I mean, from 5 cents to €5 or whatever you might like for each birdie that both the women's and the men's team make during their collegiate events. Or you can make a one-time donation. But it's cool because, for example, I was approached at the airport recently by one of the LET players, and she just came up to me and she was like, I read about Birdies for Babies. Can you please tell me more? Like, I would like to make a donation, and I think it's so cool. So I, I mean, I was obviously very grateful for that, but I think it's just great. The more people that get involved, obviously, the better. And it's just a cool way to give back to a place that gave me so much.
Fantastic. Yeah. No, we'll make sure to put the link in the description for this video. But Duke in general, and you look like you had such a fantastic time there, both on and off the course, an NCAA champion, and playing in a team with an incredible team, really. Leona Maguire, Lisa Maguire, Celine Boutier, Anna Balic was in the team. So when you look back at that time, especially playing with those players now who have gone on to become major champions, Solheim Cup stars, how do you reflect on your time, and what were they like to play with?
Yeah, I mean, amazing. I spent a lot of time with the players that you mentioned, and well, not just them, obviously the whole team. And I just learned so much, right? I mean, you have really top players. I spent 1 year. So when I was a freshman, Celine was a senior, and then I spent instead 3 years with Leona and Lisa on the team, and you just learn so much about their work ethic, right? Like, what does it take to be as good as they are? And and you get it. I mean, they work tirelessly, and they're just so good at what they do, and they put in the time, they put in the quality, and it's great. I've been very lucky because obviously when I decided to go to Duke, I knew I was going to Duke because it was one of the top academically and one of the top for the golf team, and that's because obviously they were part of the program. And yeah, and it's extremely great now to see what they are obviously achieving, and to be like to following their progress, to see them obviously during the summer as well when we play some of the same events, and it's just cool to be able to catch up when they play some elite events.
Yeah, it's super nice. I remember we had Leona on here, and she said at Duke she was very shy, and quite timid. So what were you like in that team? What role did you play?
I think I mean, I don't know, you should ask Leona probably, but no, I think I mean, I'm quite chilled. I adapt very well to like different environments. So I no, I mean, I had a fantastic time with all of my teammates. It has been great because obviously I mean, I was a little bit lucky, and it was cool as a freshman to win NCAA individually. But I think the biggest achievement obviously was winning as a team my last year, and to put in like all of the effort from the whole team, right? I mean, we were every year we were so different, but everyone really brought like different sides that were so important to the function of the team, and I think that sort of culminated for me at the NCAA championship. And yeah, we had, I mean, we, like in every team that you can have, whether that's like a team, a corporate team in a company, or a golf team at a uni, you have different personalities, and I think that's what's cool about it and what's great, because then as long as you sort of respect a different personality, you can really like shine as a team. So
Yeah. And you guys got to go to the White House, right? After winning, am I correct?
yeah, yeah, the following year we went to the White House, which was
Okay.
a
How was that?
cool experience. I mean, the White House was great. I have a great anecdote for the White House experience. I sort of got a little bit lost, and we didn't really know where we were supposed to go when we were inside the White House. So a little, like a small group, sort of separated from the rest, and I was leading this group for no reason. I mean, I didn't know where I was going. So because all of the doors were closed, they looked like office doors. I just thought the downstairs was the way to go. So I thought, okay, let's just go downstairs. I mean, for sure, that's where the exit is. So I started going down the stairs, and security. I mean, I never assisted to anything like this, obviously, but like security ran after us and like blocked us because I was going into the decision room of the White House. So, I mean, I'm not sure what I would have been now. Probably not here talking to you, but if I entered that door. But no, I mean, it was a really cool experience. It doesn't really happen frequently that you just go around the White House and see all of the rooms and the Oval Office. So it was cool.
Fantastic. See, I would be following you though as well, Virginia. I feel like you'd be the sensible one in the team and that you'd
No,
want
no,
to follow you. So
no, never. Becky probably can can tell you that you shouldn't follow me at all.
yeah. Oh, fantastic stuff. And back to tour life then. So you've had your full card since 2022, I
Mhm.
believe. Um, where it was that amazing finish at Q School. I think you birdied three of the last four holes to get your cards, which you talk about pressure. I mean that it doesn't get more pressurized than that, right? And since then, I mean, how have you found tour life? What have been your highlights?
Yeah, I mean, through life. Great question. Yes. So I've had those moments actually that you mentioned, the three birdies in the last four to take, I mean, the full card for the next season. I mean, that was really nice. I had those moments in some events, funny enough, where when I really have to make, I don't know, three birdies in the last three to survive. This sort of happens. I get into a mindset, and
Yeah,
it comes up that I do it for some reason. But through life has been, I mean, has had its good parts and bad parts, and I think everyone sort of on tour can relate. As I said, it's made of sacrifices, so you have to be willing to like put the work in and know that you have to work really hard, like but anyone that wants to achieve the top level at whatever they want to achieve, I think know that they have to work very hard. But obviously, golf is a little bit different than other jobs. We travel the world, and as I mean, we just came back from 4 weeks all over the world, and from Taiwan, and we're going to India, and then to Saudi, and then the final one is in Spain. So it's a lot of travel and a lot of staying away from home. So it just, I mean, it makes your social life a little bit more difficult. But as long as, I guess, you accept it and you know how to work around it, then it will work. But it's important, I think, to have a good support system, right? Like to have people around you that understand what it means for you to play professionally. I mean, a sport professionally is like at another level of intensity than anything that you've ever done. So I think it's really fundamental to have those people around you, whether those are your family, your loved ones, your friends, or your coaches, right? I mean, that I'm lucky. I mean, I've had coaches in these years that have been so flexible in arranging all of our calls and texts and times and lessons, and it has worked because, I mean, clearly this year and this last part of the year, although we've had bits and pieces of the season that have not been great, unfortunately, but I think it has really shown the work that everyone on my team put in.
Yeah, and someone in that team who we see quite a lot is your mum, Angela. She seems to go via every event. Everyone loves her, but just tell us, what's it like having your mum? I'd say on tour because she seems to be at most events, but what is it like having her at a lot of the events? And I know she's been caddie, she's been on the side, she's been just about everything, and I know she introduced you to golf. So just tell us a bit about her.
Yeah, that's very funny. So she's very happy that she doesn't have to caddy for me anymore. So no,
She loves Becky more than you then.
yeah, for sure, for sure. I think that's very clear. No, I mean, it has been good. This year she traveled a little bit less, but it has just been really good to have her on the bag because it was someone really sort of reliable. I knew what she was going to do, which was, I mean, nothing. And that's what I wanted her to do. Absolutely nothing, just carrying the bag. But she would never do anything other than that. I mean, I remember in one of the events she was carrying for me in Czech Republic last year. And the last day, I think I shot something like, I don't know, like 66 to go back in the top 10 or something like that. I don't remember exactly. But on 16, I needed to lay up and I was on the ball. I was literally about to put myself on the ball. And she said, no, no, no. So I was like, well, I mean, never happened that she would interrupt me in a shot. And she was like, no, sorry, you were aiming way to the right. And I just found it so funny. I mean, I had a laugh because obviously she never like told me anything at all. And it was sort of a surprise that she would intervene while I was about to hit a shot. But no, it has been just outstanding. I mean, it's nice to have that support with you, and she's been a great help because if we get a house, obviously I'm like super spoiled because she will be the one doing the cooking, and I can just get ready for the next day and get on with my other job. So that has been very helpful, and I really enjoyed. I mean, the past few events she has been around as well, and it has just been good fun to share those moments with her as well.
Yeah, super mum for sure. Uh, and you touched on is she going to be there the rest of the season? Will we see her out on the fairways?
Oh, you will, you will. She's she's ready.
Okay. Good stuff, good stuff. And you touched on the places that we get to go on tour. Taiwan last week, India next week. So you've been all over. What have been your favorite places that you visited?
Well, it's a difficult question. I think I of the ones I had at least a little bit of time to visit, I have been a really big fan of Korea. I mean, being in Seoul, I think it was super. I mean, it was great. I love Korean cuisine.
Yeah, the food.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely my favorite cuisine. I mean, maybe I shouldn't say it as an Italian, but oops, I've said it, so that's okay. So it's definitely my favorite cuisine. So being in Korea was just outstanding for me. I had time to go around the city to visit some of the museums, so that was great. I definitely enjoy some of the events in Europe. I think we get to see places that are really nice. I mean, I remember a few years ago in Ireland as well, like having time to go on the coast, on the west coast, was just incredible. I mean, when you have time, I think, to visit, that's like probably the best opportunity. Unfortunately, we don't really have a lot of time to go around and visit the cities that we play in. But seeing the cliffs in Ireland, or having the time to spend some time in Korea, was just outstanding. So maybe two of my tournament highlights for sure.
Yeah, two very different places there, but two very good answers. I
Yeah,
like it.
yeah.
And what you just said about food, I've got to ask as an Italian, are you very like particular? Are you a bit of a snob when it comes to the food? Or if you go somewhere and there's an Italian restaurant and they're doing it wrong, are you the first person to say, no, no, no?
No, I am very flexible. I
Okay.
I even said yes, and I think we should highlight this. I even said yes to Ellie Givens, the plays on tour, to make me try deep fried pizza. I mean, so I'm that flexible that I said yes to
Oh,
something like that. So I mean, you can imagine. And I was followed by seagulls because I tried that when we were at Troon last year. And the smell of it apparently was very appealing to seagulls. So they followed me around the whole city as I was trying to eat it. So I'm gonna blame Ellie for this. So no, I'm just very happy to try different cuisines and food. So
oh
it's
no.
yep.
That's traumatizing. But what was the verdict on the deep fried pizza?
No, it was terrible.
No, no
No,
good.
not for me. No, no, no.
I don't even think I would have that, and let alone being from Italy. So, and what about pineapple on pizza though? What's the verdict there?
No, 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 no. Come on. No,
No,
no.
no, no, no.
No.
You can
I
end this
saw the
call in a minute.
absolutely not. Absolutely not. I saw a pizza that puts banana on it. I mean, no. No fruit on pizza, guys.
Oh,
Absolutely not.
that's a crime.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Just like
Good
pineapple,
stuff.
right?
You mentioned, yeah, no, no, no. I don't know how that ever came to
Yeah.
fruition, to be honest. That's funny. You mentioned Ellie there. You mentioned Becky. I know you're a very popular player on tour. We see it every week. So just tell us about some of your friends on tour. Who are you closest with?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, I have a lot of fun with a lot of players. I think I just enjoy spending time with different players from different countries. I've spent a lot of time with the French girls. I roomed a couple of times with Agathe Suzon and with Emma Greci, and spent a lot of time, obviously, with everyone else from France. So, Anne Charlotte and Nastasia and so on. So, I've really enjoyed their company a lot this year. And the end of last year, we went on a ski trip. So, I mean, that was really fun. So, we got a little bit, I think, closer. So, that has been really, really good. But generally, I just spend time with everyone on tour, whether they are Brits or slash UK people, or whether they are from the other sides of the other countries in Europe, or non-European as well. So I think I've just had a lot of fun with a lot of people. I just enjoy everyone's company on the course as well. I think, and in this, I think we have good fun in the Aramco Team Series. I think part of it is the fun. Like, I mean, I just played last time around with Cara Gaynor, and I mean, I just really had a lot of fun. I was picked a couple of times by Caroline Headwall, and I mean, it's cool. I mean, you're picked by Caroline Headwall, and you think, wow. I mean, what an honor and a privilege, obviously, to play with such a star, and someone that has obviously been in so many Solheim Cups, but has not just participated, but she has been clutch player, a fundamental player to the
Yeah.
results, and being able to just play on her team and like share some of her experiences as well as a player, I think is just so cool. So I mean, I quite enjoy just picking the brain of different people on tour, but also spending time and having fun with some of them.
Nice. Yeah, good answer. And you've been a captain a few times in the Aramco. How was that experience?
Yeah, captain. I think captain is difficult. I don't really like to pick. I mean,
Yeah.
you think about like who should I pick? Should I look at birdies? Should I look at their most recent performances? Should I look at what? But it doesn't really, at the end of the day, make like such a huge difference. I mean, as everyone knows, the amateurs are so important in at the end of the result, and we are in three professionals and one amateur. And I think at the end of the day, you want to have a team that you know you're gonna have a good time with. Like you spend 5 hours on the course with a team, so you might as well at least pick someone that you think you're gonna have a good time with.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, on that note, I'm going to put you on the spot, Virginia, for our last segment of the podcast, which is Virginia Elena Carter's perfect player. So I'm going to go through the categories, think LET members, think Solheim Cup, think dual members, think whoever you want, but I'm going to list the categories and I want you to pick if you could have that person's attribute, who are you taking, okay?
Difficult
Well, you
one.
could pick yourself in any of these, by the way. Feel free. So
That would be a bit weird.
So let's start with the fun one, which is driving. So if you could have anyone on tour's driving ability, who are you taking?
All right, so I think I would go anyone between Anne Van Dam and Cassandra Alexander. Great driving, long. I mean,
Yeah.
away. So let's do that. I think that would put me in a easier position.
Yeah, I don't think anyone can argue with either of those two.
Yeah,
Solid.
yeah.
Okay, a little bit trickier then. Iron play. Ball striking slash iron play.
Difficult one. I've been doing really well this year in iron play. Probably sounds awful, but myself for irons.
Yeah. No, I think you're actually leading. I looked at strokes gained stats maybe yesterday, and you're winning one of them. Ah, yeah, approach. You're leading approach strokes gained. So the proof is in the pudding, right? You can pick yourself.
Yeah, all right. I'll pick myself. I'll pick myself for that.
Good, good, yeah. Stats don't lie. And you're quite way ahead actually as well on number one strokes gained total. So approach.
Yeah,
So
yeah, myself.
yeah, I'll
However,
let you have that.
yeah, however, if I have someone to hit hybrids for me, I mean, there is no, I think nobody would argue with that. Leona Maguire, I mean, by far. I mean,
Leona, yeah.
the best hybrid and wood player I've ever seen. I mean, since ever. So clearly, if I need a hand with that, she would be the one.
Yeah. Has that always been the case? Like even at Duke she was always
Yeah,
the assassin with the hybrids.
absolutely yes. I mean, her woods, as I mean, fairway woods. I mean, she hits fairway woods from. She could have.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised she doesn't go down to like the 7 iron with the wood because she's just so good. I mean, so good. It's. I always used to tell her that she hit her hybrids straighter than my putter. So yeah, for sure.
That's a good one. We can add her in as well then. Nice answer. Okay, short game.
Short game. Short game. Uh, short game. That's a good question. Short game, I would say. Hmm, Eleanor Givens.
Okay, yeah. We've seen
Yeah,
her chip in quite a lot actually. Yeah,
yes,
we have.
chipping and putting. I mean, she doesn't really miss a lot. So it's quite, I mean, she's phenomenal. So yeah, Ellie Givens for sure.
Good answer. We'll do putting separate. Who's
Right.
who's putting are you taking?
I would take, I would take, hmm, undecided in between Agathe Suzon and Emma Gracie. I mean, they are really good putters.
The
Really, really good
Frenchies.
putters. So Frenchies know how to putt.
Yeah, Emma, what was it in the French Open a few weeks ago? The first round, she was just making everything. It was
Oh yeah,
it was incredible.
I'm not surprised. She's so good at putting. Yeah, her and Agathe. I mean, yeah, they're really, really good putters. So I've been trying to learn from them. So definitely them.
Good. I got to ask though about the Frenchies. You say about going skiing. Who's the best skier?
Oh, Agathe.
You guys. Agat? Okay.
But by far, I mean, there is Agathe, there is everyone else, and then there is me. So that's how it works.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't ski in like
Okay.
7
I
years.
gotta ask her about that now then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't know where to start. She's the go-to then. That's cool. Okay, final one of your perfect player, Virginia, is mindset or golfing brain.
Diana Luna. I mean, can I say someone that is not playing anymore?
Oh, of course. That's a great answer.
I'm
Yes.
just outstanding. If I could have 100th of her mental approach, I think everyone would like to have 100th of her mental approach for sure.
Yeah. Fantastic answer. Really good. Yeah. I mean, Diana's a legend. I think 5 wins on tour, but for those that don't know, she's now one of the coaches, right? The federation. We see her out on tour a lot. She's very prominent. How much of a help has she been to yourself?
Yeah, she's the team manager of the ladies side in the pro team in Italy. And I mean, when you think about what she achieved, I mean, yes, she won whatever amount of events, but she finished second in so many as well. So she knows what it means to be contending and to be winning events. But part of it is just her mental strength. So I've been really trying to get, I mean, to learn as much as possible, right? From like, how can she approach tournaments in that way? How, like, when she misses a shot or when she misses a putt, what does she think about? How can she recover from awkward positions and her, yeah, I mean, her strength, in my opinion. I mean, obviously she had many strengths. I mean, she didn't really miss many shots, but I think her biggest strength by far from my side is her mental approach. I mean, her mental game, unbeatable. I mean, by far. Even if we do a competition now, like a chipping competition now, I mean, it's scary. I mean, she takes these chipping competitions so seriously, and you know you're gonna lose. I mean, you totally know you will not win against her at all. So, I mean, it's just great, obviously, to have her because anyone can learn so much.
Good. Very nice answer as well. Yeah. We'll have her as the mindset then. Final one then, Virginia. We've got a few events left. Then a nice little break in December. So what are you most looking forward to the rest of 2024?
Well, the last three events, I think. I mean, I'd like to just. I love that we have sort of two events and then a gap, and then the last one will give everyone time to sort of recover, regroup, and find a new strategy to go into the last event of the season. So I am a little bit curious to know how everyone would have reached that sort of last event after having a 3 week break, which usually doesn't really happen. So I'm just looking
Hmm.
forward, I mean, honestly, to next week. So small targets in a short terms. So I'm really looking forward to just get on with India and see how the course is and how everything is working this year. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Perfect. Well, I've kept you far too long, Virginia, especially after you said earlier on just how much stuff that you're juggling at the minute. So I do really appreciate your time. It's fantastic to see you playing so well. It's fantastic to see you smiling out there on the course. And I know that win is just around the corner. So thanks so much for joining me this week, Virginia.
No, thank you. Thanks, George. Thank you very much.